What's going on, guys? Kaiga here. Today we're doing PvE ranking for July 2024. Yesterday I did PvP. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't, and let's jump into it. Alright, this is actually largely the same from last month. You'll see Priest at the top. This stops CC from some bosses, which doesn't really come up a lot, but it's nice to have. Also, primarily you're using it for the crit and attack buff, as well as reducing the boss's tenacity and break and block. Always a good one. Also very good switch class, meaning you will have a primary class. The other three S tiers are great options for this main class, which you spend most of the time in, and then every 15 to 20 seconds you swap to Priest to re-up on everything, throw out your skills, and swap back to your main class. Going on into armor, if we had to rank them for PvE specifically, armor would be the highest in my opinion. Just the raw damage output. In most PvE aspects, even in Guild Boss, you can prep ahead of time and get a good nether fire ahead of time, allowing you to do a bunch of extra damage, especially if you have a pocket priest or something that'll always be buffing. Generally, I'll do a Guild Boss video later today. Check that out. But if you are trying to AFK it, this is a great one for doing it. You stay in Mechanician the whole time, swap to Priest to re-up on things, swap back, do a bunch of damage. You're just generally doing a lot of damage with Netherfire, and Blasting Sparkle is up all the time. Then we have Dragon Fighter. Dragon Fighter is a combo class. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4 with the skills, and once you do the 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's time for your second and third skill to use their additional effects for more damage. Now, it starts from 0 when you do the swap, so this is also a good class to swap out of. So this is your main class. You do the 1, 2, 3, 4, you swap to, let's say, Priest, you throw out your skills, you swap back to Dragon Fighter, and you're ready to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skills, which will then allow your damage to keep growing. And if armor didn't have that bonus crit damage, then this may have been the top damage dealer. Then we have Marksman, which would be the third damage. Used to be really high. Now it's slowly coming down. This is primarily because it requires kind of a weaving aspect of your basics, meaning you have to use a skill basic, use a skill basic, use a skill basic, which actually puts you kind of behind on these swaps, because you can swap every 5 seconds, but you're going to be doing 2, maybe 3 weaves, which isn't enough to put out your full damage. You're generally doing your swap every 7 to 8 seconds after you do a full weave, which is the highest amount of damage in a full weave, but you're doing less damage overall. Then we're down in the A tier. Mechanician, very similar to Priest being a good swap class. You swap to this class to put down all your summons. This is a class that does way better if you manual it over auto, because manual, it'll try to put down the turret and the spiders right next to your target instead of putting them down at range, which means if the let's say guild boss knocks you back, you have to walk all the way to the boss to put them down, which takes you out of damage. Then we have Wind Chaser, generally supposed to be a PvP class, but does do nice damage. You are primarily using third skill, second skill to change it to be extra damage and extra duration, which is going to do good extra damage. This is also a secondary class for something like armor or dragon fighter if you have enough pocket priests on the guild, allowing you to have more uptime on damage. Then we have dragon knight. It does do really high damage. It's just very similar to what I said about marksman. It does high damage in its rotation, but its rotation requires a long pull on a skill, which, I mean, the Dragon Fighter just does better on. Then we're down in the B tier, which we have Gladiator and Judge. Gladiator, you can make an argument that it could be an A tier in the right hands, on manual specifically, but on auto it just isn't doing it. In group PvE, such as like the Wind Elemental Realm, it can do a lot better, but on a boss type PvE, such as Guild Boss, Fire, Elemental Realm, things like this, it's just not holding its weight. Very similar to Judge, almost exactly the same boat, does decent damage, throws out enough skills, but primarily does well in the AoE PvE, such as, like I said, Wind Elemental Realm, which is generally the only real place. There might be one that I'm missing, but generally in PvE we're doing boss battles, which these classes just aren't doing it for. And Berserker is down here primarily because its main thing is flash, getting the reset, which doesn't work against PvE. It gives you 50%, and if you're killing the boss, then you're done. So what does it matter if you reset, right? But this is PvE tier list for July 2024. Let me know what you think down below. Till next time, guys.